One word that comes to mind when I think of Cuba is just vibrant. Everything I've heard about it has been just a incredible mishmash of culture and music and life and art and, sorrow and poverty amidst joy and dancing. And I'm so thrilled to be a part of this opportunity to go there in this time where the US and Cuba are, reassessing their relationships with each other. And it's going to be an incredible experience, and I cannot wait.
Paso a paso voy.
De Alto Cerro voy para Marcané, llego a Puesto voy para Mayarín. De Alto Cerro voy para Marcané, llego a Puesto voy para Mayarín.
We are working on a documentary about Televisión Serrana, which is a rural media collective in the hills of the provinces of Cuba. They are government sponsored. They've been around for 20 years working with members of the community, working with film students, and working on documentaries about life in the rural part of Cuba that, contrary to the cities, it doesn't really get a lot of attention.
It's amazing to me how passionate these people are about what they do and what they're doing to bring their communities together and to be a voice for them. So having that opportunity to go see them and meet them, it's amazing.
We have this rhetoric about Cuba in the United States that kind of skews everybody's expectations. Like when we learn about it, we basically learn up until the Cuban Missile Crisis, and then that's it. So our ideas are always of this country stuck in the past. I think as Americans, we like to think that nothing can change without our influence, but so much has changed in Cuba.
I was a little bit, not concerned, but interested as to how we would be received as Americans. With the embargo and tourism being what it is, it's incredibly difficult to come visit Cuba, especially in this area in the provinces. And I was concerned about potentially feeling slightly unwelcome because U.S.-Cuba relations have not been perfect, especially over the last 50 years. But we have been met with nothing but kindness and just overwhelming generosity from everybody. Have really made this experience just absolutely incredible in their outpouring of generosity and love for us.
Here and in a lot of Latin American countries, you go and eat somewhere and it's like going into their homes and being welcomed and them serving you something, and just the hospitality is incredible.
I wasn't prepared for the fast speech, some words that I wasn't necessarily familiar with in Spanish, but it was also really cool to be able to start using some of the skills that I've been learning in my time at William & Mary in a real world environment.
The friendliness of the people, they want to communicate with you in whatever way is possible, and sometimes you don't necessarily need words in order to do that.
There is a strong sense of Cuban solidarity, of Cuban people sticking together, about having this community of being Cuban. We see this, we see the architecture, we see everything, but then we see right next to it the poverty and the problems that Cuba has, that even the people acknowledge. Like, they'll talk to you about their problems and the problems that Cuba faces.
Tú siempre me respondes, baby.
I could not be more thankful for this experience to do the ultimate learning outside the classroom. It's unlike any study abroad program that I've ever seen before. We're working on a research project and meeting so many incredible people and like existing in a place that like I could not have ever imagined visiting or having the privilege of spending time in.
Y así pasan los días, yo desesperando y tú contestando. Sal, 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 sal.
It doesn't really matter where you are or what your group looks like. You kind of form bonds over whatever it is you have in common. So while I didn't know a whole lot of people on this trip before we got here, I feel like we have formed our own community based around not necessarily the same, we don't all have the exact same interests, but we have a common set of values where we're like really valuing this experience for this amazing culture that we're getting to experience that people for 50 years in the US haven't had a chance to see.
Sal, sal, sal,